if you raise chickens like I do, chances are you have a bunch of these bags lying around. And normally I take and make them into these grocery bags that hold about 50 pounds worth of food. This time I'm going to try to do something a little bit different. In my chicken coop, I line the floor with usually a cheap tarp, and it lasts about 2 years. But the chickens find a way to scratch through it and dig holes in it, and then it starts to leak. Since these bags are waterproof and they're made of like a tarp material, I have an idea. I'll be setting it at the zigzag pattern, which is number 1 here. I'll set the length at 3 and the width at 3. So the floor of the chicken coop is 8 by 4, and I need a foot up on each wall. So I need 6 by 10. These are 3'3" by 2'4". So we got it mostly cleaned out. Not too bad. A couple tears in the bottom. That's the reason why I want to change it out. I tell you what, the tarp keeps it a lot cleaner than if you just left it to its own elements in here. Just a little bit sweeping up and should be good to go. I'll give you a little tour of my chicken house. This is used to be a kid's playhouse. I had it in the tree and I took it down, and the kids really didn't want to use it anymore, so I repurposed it. It is insulated. It's got about 4 inches of insulation in the wall itself, and it's got good vinyl windows which you can open and close. Use a little bit of cleaning. And one thing here, this was an experiment and it does work, is I put Christmas lights on this one screen that I put up here, and the screen is just basically to keep them off of that ledge so that they don't roost up there and, you know, crap everywhere. But if you put Christmas lights up and you put this on a timer, they'll lay eggs all winter. Now up in this northern climate, they'll lay eggs all year round if you put a timer on there to give them a little bit more light in the evening. They think it's still summertime, and they'll continue to lay eggs. I don't like to do that. I think it stresses them. They have enough problems with just it being cold and eating enough to stay warm. These girls, they're still trying to lay eggs. Oh well. Oh, and here I use these containers. They're real easy to clean. You can take them out and just fill them back up. The only problem is if you get any mice in your chicken coop, they like to get behind it and they'll make a nest. But I come in here every once in a while to clean them out anyway. This year not so bad with mice. Year before we had mice everywhere. I have a little flat screen. A little flat screen heater that I use, and it sits right in front of where they bed. I normally have their roosting area right here, and this kind of radiates the heat towards them, and they get they stay warm at night. It's basically just to keep them from freezing to death when it's below zero. And when it really gets cold, then I take and turn on the big heater up there, and that'll actually pump out so much heat that I can't even stand it in here. So I'll leave the window partially open and just to let the air come in. And then I got a vent system up above. Now this is a filter vent. It allows the air to come in and come out. I'll show you from the outside. And all it is basically is it's just a regular vent from a house. But that's it. It does what it's supposed to do. And then I have a little A-frame on the outside that I use for their food. I hang their food right there, and it's got plastic windows on it made from PVC, clear PVC. And then they have access to either garden. They can come into this garden, which is obviously not a garden right now. It's a chicken area, and then that area was all tomatoes and peppers and stuff like that, but they didn't get in there. Obviously I can shut the door from the inside and keep them out. So I could flip back and forth. I could actually have a garden over here one year and then switch them over to the other side and vice versa. We'll see what happens this year. I might switch them back over to the other side. So now I'm just going to get in here and I'll start sweeping up this mess, and then hopefully these girls will be done soon. I'll just let them sit for a little bit longer, and then I'll get in here and clean all this mess out. I don't put any tarps or anything underneath their nesting boxes. It stays pretty dry. But underneath where they roost, it gets pretty nasty. I use the deep litter method, which is about 4 to 8 inches of pine chips. And it works really well. It keeps it nice and dry. And then I also put an additive in there to help with decomposition. And that works even better than just leaving it alone. I'll show you that. So if you use the deep litter method, I use this. It's called, and it's not sponsored or anything, but it's called Sweet PDZ, and it's for horse stall refresher granules, and it just says it eliminates harmful ammonia odor, which is awesome. It keeps it nice and dry, and it's supposed to be okay for the chickens. Obviously I wouldn't throw it down on the ground because chickens eat anything. But what does it say? It's got clinopollinolite, natural earth product. So I wouldn't throw it down for these goofballs because they eat anything. I mean, you throw anything down there and they'll run after it. So anyway, don't just throw it down and mix it into their pine chips. And then the pine chips I use are just from Tractor Supply. Get it in this big container. I use about one of these for their entire coop, and it lasts probably anywhere from 4 to 6 months. But you got to get in there and you got to rotate it every once in a while just to kind of get the bacteria moving and have it start breaking down. But other than that, it keeps the smell down. Very little ammonia, as long as you've got some aeration inside the coop. Right? So I must have started cleaning at the wrong time, because now I got 3 girls that want to go in there and lay eggs. Either that or Miss Nosybody here, just doing her inspection. Just checking to see if anybody's in there. Go lay your eggs. I'll be back in a little bit. Oh, got most of it cleaned up. Cleaned up the windows. Got all the cobwebs down. Most of the laying boxes. Still got one trying, so I'll just leave her. And see if we can get this tarp in here. I try to go through the seams and make it a lot stronger. I'm just putting in these little K-type screws tucked into the one corner and walk it over. Right in on the other. I start at the center, and work my way to the corner. Then in the corner, I'll tuck the flap behind. Kind of like wrapping a package. Make sure it's got a little slack. And then put a screw in the top. That's it. This right here, I made of the same stuff I used outside, that PVC. Keeps the dookie off the wall. Works pretty good. You can actually rinse it down if I need. But it seems to stay pretty clean when it dries and falls off. We'll get the other screws on here and be good to go. Inspectors here. Oh, inspectors here. What's the matter? Come here. Come here. There you go. Go back outside. Goodbye. Alright. Corners are done. Center's done. I just need to cut out the other parts and lay it down. just a little bit, so I'll take one. Yes, I intentionally go through the straps, or the little flaps on the side. Seems to make it easier. They stay more in this area here. Keeps everything tight. Now you only have to put the screws at the upper portion of it because it's going to act as sort of like a swimming pool. All the stuff will stay on the bottom. I'll put the next thing in here. Down here so it doesn't interfere with the flaps. Here. Okay. Once I get everything all laid out nice, I like to tuck all the cords in, like this one and these back behind. This just keeps them from interfering with the electrical parts. Nice and neat. And then, to make sure, let's put a screw next to it. Nice and tight, keeps the stuff out of it. Next step is to get the wood chips in here. Show you that next. Put a little bit in here, not too much. Put too much in there, you can't see the eggs. Actually, is that it? That's fine. Got some eggs in here. I can get this one out. Ooh. Since it still might freeze, I use the indoor chicken water. Just take a regular dog water and I cut a hole in a piece of plexiglass. They broke one of the tabs off, but they can only drink out of here. And this strapped down so they can't take the top off or knock the whole thing over. I should probably get them some newer water. Got about half here. 5 gallons. Even though it's probably not going to freeze, I'm not going to be taking any chances. So, on my standard heating pad, I should probably put that under it. before I put the tank on it. Anyway. Alright, so the heating pad, I usually leave it on low. I got it in a little container here. I usually leave it on low when it's cold out, just to be on the safe side, keeps the water from freezing up. Strap this big down. There we go. It's all wrapped up. Got nice new chips. And of course this one couldn't wait. She had to get in there and gotta lay some eggs. Good girl. Okay. So I'm gonna leave that window open. I'm going to open up the sliding door. Somebody at the door anyway. There we go. Open for business. I'll do some other videos showing on how I did some of these things. This is my winter setup. Again, I've got a dog water. It's 5-gallon dog water with just a plexiglass top and a hole in it. They don't really poop in it. I mean, they'll climb up here, but pretty good. And then the food all sits outside. Here, I'll show you. Food is always outside. It's in that 5-gallon bucket right there, and I've got some 45s on the side. Buddy, get out of the way. I can't see it. Move out of the way. Alright, anyway, so I keep that filled. That usually lasts me about 2-3 weeks, depending on how much we feed them extra. And then I have a covered outlet down here, which runs my power strip. This is for the extra heat in case it gets way below zero, which we had minus 10, 15, 20, and it gets a little cold. And then everything else I just tuck up on top here. Get it out of the way. The less they have to roost on and grab, the better. Oh, I think it's so short. Oh, there we go. Alright. Let's hang that one behind. There we go. And we got a little LED light, just in case I want to see what's going on. Let's flip the switch over there. A little Coop. I got a light. And there's my little flaps so they can get in and out. Hello? Let me move some of this out of the way. They usually don't poop too much around the doorway or anything. They like to roost, and then they go over all over there. But they're pretty good. Come on in. Come on. Now they're curious. Pecking at it. Goofy. Anyway, so I got them all running around today. It's nice out. It's in the 60s, so far cry from the couple weeks ago when we had minus 10 degrees. So they have the run right now. They're just out there pecking at some stuff. I don't know. So there you go. That's how to repurpose your chicken bags. These are waterproof, so it should keep out the moisture from getting through to the wood. Again, I used a latex paint I bought at Menards. I think I spent like $5 a gallon. It was in the return area. Latex paint. I just painted everything, floor, ceiling, everything with the latex paint, and it's been holding up for about 4 years now. And works pretty good. So that's that for today.